Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning, right?
I am John Palacio.
And I'm April Martinez.
And thank you for joining us this morning. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning
out. It's a lovely Wednesday.
Lovely,
the
lovely.
sun is shining hot.
It is hot,
yeah.
But nonetheless, I'm glad for it. I'm glad for it. I mean, like the past 2-3 weeks, every Wednesday, Thursday, then you start to see some rain, or every Friday you start to see some rain.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, we're glad for the heat at times. And I always come on here and say the crops need the heat.
Crops need the heat.
Some crops need the rain. And so therefore, it's a beautiful morning. But mornings like this, when it's this beautiful, even though it's hot, there are a lot of people out there working out and trying to
you see them running?
crack a sweater 5.
Yeah.
And then that it builds for a healthy lifestyle.
It does.
So we're so thankful for what we've got and so thankful to be in this lovely, lovely country.
I left Belmopan and people were already running at 5 in the morning, and that it's good to do it between that 5-6 hour, just because around 6 o'clock that when it's Sunday, they creep up and then they get hot instantly. So you want to get out there on that early, right? But you get that early start, and then at 6:30 you put on your TV and you start your morning, right?
Look, I'll tell you what, the sun decided to put on the shades
at
about 6:30. That's when you start to feel that peak heat. Not peak heat, but that's when you start to feel the heat coming in.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, speaking of heat coming on, it's always about what's buzzing in the newscast. Last night, as per usual, there are always a lot of things that showcase or get its highlight in the news that's there to talk about. There is the one with the weapons, and I'd like to touch on that a little later on, because we don't give much kudos to the police. There's always this, because you never do this or because you never do that. But when you see weapons coming off the street, then we do say kudos to them. Give them a pat the back rather than you knock them every time and expect great service. It doesn't work like that. But for me, historic building actually being demolished, but it is for a good cause. It wasn't a healthy area for children to learn in. We're talking about St. Mary's Primary School, over 100 years old, just about 100 years old. So many people came out of that. So many lawmakers, so many people, so many Belizeans came out of that.
Built in the 1930s, and I can understand why they need to demolish. But I was really hoping that there would be a consultation on historical buildings and to see how you could salvage certain things or remodel it in the way of how the building was, so you don't take away that essence per se of that historic meaning. But I understand. Right?
Well, I do feel though that there should be a building along the lines of what it is now. I think that's one of the things that they had mentioned, because that's history in the making right there. That's what we're seeing on the screen from all the way back in the 1930s, like you mentioned. Remember that kind of bell? As a matter of fact, in our days, we used to go out
used to have
and
that
ring
kind of bell.
a handbell.
Yeah.
You
ring the buzzards.
Yeah.
But okay, so here's my 2 cents on this on this building, right? It's historically, it has its age. It has its place in Belize City education. And for it to have gotten this bad for so long, I think that is a shame on community as well. I don't know. I feel that for us as Belizeans, we don't take care of heritage sites. We don't. I'm sorry, we don't.
But the question is, do we know how to?
We don't in the matter of its public education, but the folks at IA and the folks at Niche, they do have that that parameter of how they're supposed to manage and take care of buildings.
You're totally cognizant of everything archaeology within our country. Do we have like a list of sites or list of existing places or that, like for instance, this one that we would say, you know what? I think these things need to be. We need to try to preserve as much as possible. You know, let me go back to I think when the then Mayor Darrell Bradley was in council in Belize City, there was a project to try and save face or try to uplift these historical buildings in Belize City. Is there a list?
So we do have a list of pre-colonial archaeological sites. So when I mean that, I mean what is historically ancient Maya. To say that we have a collective list of historic, so that's what we call historical archaeology, anything that is post-colonial and so like about 100 years from ago.
Totally get you.
Right? I wouldn't know if there is a proper list because we don't have anyone in Belize that is specializing in historical archaeology, in this type of archaeology. The archaeologists that we have are predominantly Maya archaeologists, right? So if there is somebody out there that is one day willing to want to study something like this, to take care of places like St. John's Cathedral and so forth, you know, we don't have anybody that is specializing in that area.
I hear you, totally understand. And this is the reason for conversations like this, because it brings forth the idea of what we can do and how we can make ourselves better, especially in this type of situation. But at the same time, because of the educational effect it will have on these children, we know for a fact that work needs to be something that's speedy. But they're trying to raise their funds as well. It will take millions of dollars.
It will take millions of dollars.
Yes.
I know they're saying that for now they're going to resort to getting the wooden buildings that we normally see being transported so that the kids can start at least school by the end of this month. The standard 6 classes
are being held in the church.
In the church itself. But you know, this is a sign that we need to take care of our buildings. It doesn't matter if this is a historical building. All educational facilities should be up to par. The building should not be collapsing on the kids.
It should not be, which brings me to the thought of maintenance. We do a lot of buildings around. We do a lot of street paving or street cementing and drainage and whatnot, but we don't maintain. And then we wonder why. Because it is important that you maintain. It's like your body and your health. You know, I'll use myself as a perfect example. I eat anything.
You eat anything?
I eat anything. I don't
except ugly animal.
Well, we're good. But at the same time, I eat anything. I consume anything at any time of the day or any time of the night. That's how I feel. But at the same time, I am out there maintaining my body, my temple, my structure. That's what I'm doing because it is important. I want longevity. And I feel that if for us to get on longevity, then we have to maintain. Millions of dollars have been spent in infrastructure within our country. But are we maintaining these infrastructure? And this is a perfect example of. But we're so glad that at least they've found the problem. They're trying to rectify it. It is for education. You did mention here in Belize City, but I'll tell you what, education trickled all over the country. All right. So that's one of the things buzzing there. The next, of course, I'd like to get to the police force finding high-power rifles, high-power guns, you know, and taking them off the streets, of course, with complete with ammunitions and whatnot. And I feel this is a great way for us to give kudos to what the police department is doing, because for the most part, what we do is that we go and we something happened there, or there was a fight between a police and a civilian, and that is being showcased all over social media. Therefore, giving a black eye to the police department. But at the same time, every day good things come out of the police department, but we don't give kudos to that. We only showcase when something bad happens, or what we refer to as bad, but we don't showcase when these guys are doing what they have been trained to do and what they try to offer on a daily basis.
I 100% agree, and I think that when it comes to showcasing just the negative, you know, that's not just us, the media, but also social media, and everybody that has a phone takes it out and highlights. And it's not just about police matters. I will go so far as to say that any kind of bad news is highlighted all the time, and we tend to kind of put the good news in the back burner. So kudos to our police officers who are able to salvage these illegal weapons and taking them off the streets for
Indeed.
good. Because one of our biggest problems, and we'll have that conversation today, is that we're not able to properly log and connect certain bullets to ammunitions when we do forensics, because those weapons are not in the system.
They're not in the
because
system.
they're being carried illegally.
They're illegal.
So
Yeah.
even though we have a good forensics team that is able to connect the weapon with the with the bullet pieces and the shell casings and so forth, it's not going to show up in the system.
No.
Because they're buying them. They're
Illegally.
not. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not registering the guns. So it's a wasted effort on some departments, right? So the fact that they're able to collect these weapons and take them off and properly process them, we could maybe tie them to some loose cases,
Indeed, indeed, and these things definitely came from across borders. We don't make guns, I believe. We don't do that here, and so therefore, when you see these things, we know for a fact that it came from somewhere else. But there are people who are actually lurking with these things. But we need to continue to give kudos to there is a police officer who eventually did some kind of justice to a domestic violence yesterday, because we know that it happened. There is a police officer who actually stopped some kind of criminal activity yesterday, because we know it happened. And if we know that these things are happening, then let's give kudos where kudos are supposed to be given.
Yeah.
Because they're trying their best.
Yeah.
And it's up to us as well to continue to help each other. Simply, if you say something, say something.
I feel like Superintendent Noble may they like to have you the host here instead of
No, but we must do that. We must do that. There is no way in taking a job knowing that you'll be bashed every day, knowing that what you're trying to do is actually something good for your community, knowing that you're doing it for your community, thus helping out your country.
I agree. With everything, it's a partnership, right?
It must be a partnership.
Yeah.
Excellent. I love the way we summed that up, but I hope that we motivated you to give kudos where kudos is supposed to be given. All right? That's just a piece of the pie. Speaking of motivation, as per usual, we take a look at the eye-opener taken from dailyom.com. I read this one over a few times. April, I want to speak to your heart.
Yeah.
All right? We'll be speaking to your heart as well. The eye-opener goes like this. Every decision is a learning experience, whatever the outcome. Our precision of the traits and characteristics that make us who we are is often tightly intertwined with how we live our life. We define ourselves in terms of roles we adapt, our actions and inactions, our triumphs, and what we think are failures. As a result, it is easy to identify so strongly with a decision that has resulted in unexpected negative consequences that we actually become wrong decision. The disappointment and shame we feel when let me run that by you again. The disappointment and shame we feel when we make what we perceive as a mistake grows until it becomes a dominant part of our identities. We rationalize our poor decisions by labeling ourselves incompetent decision makers. However, your true identity cannot be defined by your choices. Your essence, which is what makes you a unique entity, exists independently of your decision-making process. A perceived mistake becomes a valuable learning experience and is, in essence, a gift to learn and grow from. You are not a bad person, and you are not your decisions. You are simply human.
Love it. Honestly, it's a great eye-opener, and I love that ending part. You are simply human. At the end of the day, whatever decisions that you make, honestly, you can't predict the outcome, regardless of whether you know you are making a good or bad decision. And at the end of the day, it is a learning lesson. It will teach you something that you probably didn't consider before. Even if you make the same mistake over and over, you will learn something from it eventually. I really like this eye-opener.
April, this is something that we alluded to. I think it was last Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. We spoke about something along this line, if I'm not mistaken. And I resorted to saying, that one of the things that we can do, or we are, especially with age, is that we are examples and we carry around wisdom for people that are younger than us, and therefore dispensing that wisdom to these folks and for them to learn from. Because when they make their decision, they're not their decision, but at the same time, there is a learning lesson from it. Now, how it affects you is that if you didn't or have not heard of such thing, and then it affects you in some way, shape, or form. We continue to teach each other in every way possible. So, when we make decisions, we're not that decision, but rather we're actually seeing what we learn.
Yeah.
I continue to say, and I will always say this, nothing bad ever happens. When we use the word bad, we're disrespecting the educational aspect of the situation. You get where I come from? I know you real up to you. I know you real up to you.
I know you didn't realize.
When we say it, oh, this bad, we're actually disrespecting the educational aspect of it. I want to tell you why, April. Because if you walk down there and you should slip, oh, something bad happened to April. Oh, we could say it. But you, April, actually learned that once you're stepping off that platform, you should look before you step. What did you learn?
Yeah.
Look before you step. You know what? It becomes a part of your decision thereafter that if I'm going that way, I must look before I leap. Yeah. You know, so there's so many things to learn. And you know, and when I read this eye opener over, I was like, this thing, man, it's so speaking to everybody.
I agree with you. I just think that sometimes when you are in the moment of that bad experience or that bad decision where you think, right, it's a little bit difficult for you to process the learning curve.
Exactly.
You know, it's difficult because you're kind of there dwelling in the fact that, crap, I just drop off.
I just drop off the platform.
Yeah,
and I hurt
you
the
know,
foot, you know,
exactly. So you're focusing on the pain, you're focusing on the embarrassment, and so you're not necessarily thinking about the learning curve. You think about the learning curve after you sit with it
and process the situation. Was it bad?
I mean, my foot still hurt.
Did you learn anything?
But yes, of course, you learn something. And of course, naturally, your instincts take over after a period of time. And you.
So what happens to your decision-making process thereafter?
I watch every step that I make.
Exactly. And that's what I'm talking about. You watch a step. But it comes from wisdom. Because the next time somebody comes into this studio and that person is going there knowing that there is something there to trip that person, what are you going to say, April?
I'm going to make sure I warn them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you help in making a decision.
Absolutely.
But primarily, you are not a bad person and you are not your decision. You're simply a human because that's how we learn.
I love
so
that
speaking of learning, let's learn about the weather.
Let's
learn about the weather. Let's learn about the weather. We've got the forecaster on the line as we speak. Chief, morning.
Hello, good morning.
And how are you today, sir?
I'm doing good, thank you.
All right, I tell you what, we want to learn about the weather to find out what decision we'll be making today and for the next few days. Let's start about the general situation. Let's talk about that.
Okay, well, conditions are relatively dry, and we can expect mainly fair and warm weather today.
All right, so we could make some great decisions too. In the 24-hour forecast,
okay, we're expecting mostly sunny skies today with isolated showers and isolated afternoon thunderstorms inland. Tonight, partly cloudy, again with isolated showers and the chance for a few more along with isolated thunderstorms over the south.
All right. And let's talk about the winds. What should we expect there?
Light winds, we're expecting easterly at 5 to 10 knots and the sea state slight.
Sound like a great ride on the seas.
Right.
All right. And
our temperatures, our highs and lows?
Okay, highs today, 88 along the coast, 94 inland, 82 up in the mountains. Lows tonight, 79 along the coast, 72 inland, 66 up in the mountains.
All right.
Yeah, it's going to be a warm day.
Yeah, and let's talk about now the extended forecast. What should we expect for the next few days?
Okay, for tomorrow, we can expect similar weather conditions during the daytime. Sunny skies, And then at night, a few showers and thunderstorms is expected over most areas.
All right. We're in the in the hurricane season. Is there anything out there we should be looking out for?
Okay, there are a few systems, at least 3 of them. Hurricane Danielle over the North Atlantic Ocean. Hurricane Earl, again over the Atlantic. It is between Bermuda and Puerto Rico and moving north. And then there's an area of low pressure over the Atlantic, again, the tropical Atlantic Ocean, a few hundred miles west of the Cabo Verde Islands or the Cape Verde Islands. That's moving generally westward at 15 to 20 miles per hour and has a medium chance of developing into a tropical depression. It is not, if it develops, it is not expected to enter the Caribbean.
All right. And so there's nothing that is threatening to us here at home.
That's correct.
All right. You're the bearer of good news, Chief. Thank you so very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, so there we go.
Listen, the fact that it is always good news when we are safe from these natural disasters.
Well, I'll tell you what, Uncle Earl is out there.
Earl is
and
out
Uncle
there.
Earl did us a loo not too long ago, a few years ago. We had an Earl that we felt that was said to be a tropical, a Category 1 hurricane.
Yeah.
But that seemed like a Category 2. Like, man, I heard those winds and like it's a big story being told at the time. Like, man, so knowing that Earl is out there hanging out elsewhere, kudos to you, Earl. But one of the things I watched as well too is actually the temperatures. And when I hear about the hills, it reminds me of one of my favorite spots to be, which is not the Balder Beacon, but actually at the 1,000-foot falls. That vantage point of where you could see the 1,000-foot falls through that. Man, when you get there, that's a beautiful feeling. It's a beautiful sight. Yeah. It feels so cool.
I mean, I'd rather there right now than go back to Belmopan for 94 degrees. So.
Oh my goodness, I could imagine that. You guys got to the one sun with a magnifying glass.
The sun beat differently than Belmopan, and all the way I tell you that. But stay cool. So you all in the inland, of course, also on the coast and in the hills.
Definitely, we're also in the hurricane season. Make sure that you've got your plans prepared and make sure that everybody is a part of it because together we go further. All right, so let's jump on into what the show is going to be like for today. We'll be having in for the first segment representatives of the U.S. Embassy and GOB. They'll be in to talk to us about the United States Fund prosecutional training to strengthen Belize's justice system. Now, that's a very important conversation.
That's going to be a good conversation.
That's the first segment.
And our second segment yesterday was Suicide Prevention Day. So today we are going to have the folks from Monarch Counseling and Consulting to talk about the prevention of suicide and how we can discuss it with folks. So that should be a good conversation as well.
All right, and we'll be ending things off with some entertainment.
Your body to come.
Buddy, Boy will be in the house today, and along with his son, they'll be in to talk to us about his work, what he's got coming up, and what's next for him. That's what we've got lined up for you, Loverboy, the entire crew. We're going to take a break, though. When we come back, we'll be joined by reps from we'll be chit-chatting about the fund's prosecutional training. And, of course, funded by the United States Embassy here in Belize. That and more when we come back. Stay with us.
Everyone, including our elderly, needs to stay connected with their loved ones. With Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program, senior citizens can sign up for 10 megabytes of unlimited internet at a low monthly cost of $25. Citizens over 65 can sign up with a valid ID and receive free installation plus 1 month free on selected broadband plans. Visit a Smart showroom near you for more information on how you can enjoy Smart's Golden Citizen broadband program. Smart, bringing people together.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Ignite the innovator in you with Dell. Cellular World is an authorized partner for Dell Technologies. Whether you're looking for equipment for personal use or to transform your business, Dell Technologies can provide you with the right equipment to suit your needs. Dell is more than just desktop computers and laptops. The full line also includes monitors, data storage solutions, keyboards, docking stations, and other accessories. This is technology that makes it possible and provides solutions for every situation. Shop for your Dell products at Cellular World, your #1 Dell authorized partner in Belize, and get all the technology you want for less. Bring your brightest ideas to life with intelligent technology. Cellular World, authorized Dell partner.
What is Amnesty 2022? An opportunity for undocumented immigrants living in Belize. Belize wants to help you to live freely and continue contributing to those communities you and your family now call home by offering a pathway to permanent residency. Why should you apply? In doing so, you remove barriers and reduce the difficulties faced living as an undocumented immigrant. Applying is easy. Go online to www.immigration.gov.bz for more information. Find out if you qualify, how to apply, what documents you need, and how to book your appointment. Be prepared. The registration period will be from the 2nd of August to the 30th of November 2022. Belize Amnesty 2022. Let's continue to build Belize together.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Welcome back. We are back, and welcome to Open Your Eyes. We're now moving into our first segment for the morning. Very important conversation, April, and this definitely needs a lot of talk because people need to understand what it's about. This one is actually about funds prosecutional training. We've got in to talk to us about it Georgia Belizaire. She's actually a program specialist, Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement, that is, at the U.S. Embassy. Also in with us is Alifa Elrington, Senior Crown Counsel, Head of the National Prosecution Branch, Belize Police Department of GOB. Welcome. And my buddy, Adam Benz. I hope he came in the Benz too. He's a Public Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Belmopan.
I drive a Toyota.
don't match your car.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
It's nice to have you guys in. This conversation is very important. And I feel, and you know, we were having this conversation this morning in terms of people actually crucifying the police department because of what they do not do. We don't see what they do, and we don't give enough kudos to. And so therefore it makes it a very hard place to want to work, especially for those who believe in law enforcement. So exactly where I'd like to start. Law enforcement, the importance of that, Adam. And why is the U.S. Embassy funding such program? Let's talk about the program.
Well, and Georgia will be the expert on this, but what I would say is that we do it because we are partners with Belize, and Belize asks for assistance, and there are a lot of opportunities for us to work together, and ultimately we are strongly committed to working with Belize to build a safer country and a better country, a country with better transparency and rule of law for everyone. And I can tell you that they've done incredible work, and this has not been just this one training, it's been going back for years. So I know, Georgia, would you like to talk a little bit about the training you just did?
Let's talk about that.
Yes, so prosecution is one of the program that we focus on justice sector. I designed justice sector programs, assistance program for Belize. But it's a larger justice sector program, and we've been given, as Adam mentioned, we've been given these trainings for quite a while. Just that for some reason haven't necessarily caught the spotlight. The importance of it is, you know, for us to ensure, well, for the government to ensure that they are able to deliver justice. Alifa can give more on what they do at the prosecution branch, but for us, we have a larger justice sector program, and it's not just necessarily prosecution we focus on the courts. We're giving assistance to forensics, we're giving assistance to the FIU, and we have some additional assistance to other agencies that are coming on the pipeline.
You know, very important that we've got these programs, and I read from the press release from 2019, we've had much of these programs, which leads me to Ms. Alifa. Let's talk about what it has been doing for the justice system. There are a lot of people who might not believe in it and say, you know what, why are we even doing this? It will always be the same thing, but we might not see exactly where it's working. Might be minimal, might be much more, flying over our heads. Let's talk about how this program is working for us.
So everybody knows what COVID did to our country over the last 2 years. And I came into prosecution branch just before COVID hit. So I came into prosecution branch in 2019. And even in 2019, I've been an attorney going on 15 years, I believe. So when I went into prosecution branch, I had 11 years of defense. So a lot of people would say, but a defense counsel? Why would a defense counsel want to go into prosecution? But I worked quite a bit in the magistrates court, in the family court, even in the Supreme Court and the other courts. But the heart of what the police department does begins at the magistrates court. I've said 10 times over, when I came in, I said to the commissioner, you have to remember, crime fighting cannot end at an investigation. It ends at the prosecution of the case, a successful prosecution. And I will say outright, a successful prosecution does not necessarily mean a conviction. It means that somebody's case has been brought to the court. The evidence in relation to that case has been led. Once there's a good investigation, you can lead the evidence. The evidential burden of the prosecution is met, and that person has a case to answer. That is the most important aspect of it. If it is that we have a good investigation and we have a good prosecution, then there will be a conviction.
Yes.
Our conviction rate has been relatively well over the last years. We've increased it by programs like the ones that we're doing, by trainings like the ones that we're doing. I will tell you, I have prosecutors across this country. I have about 30 prosecutors across the country that we're responsible for. And you have some that have been prosecuting for 14, 15 years. Wow. They've spent their life at the Belize Police Department prosecuting. I remember when I did the interview a few weeks ago, I was asked if my prosecutors can stand up to an O.J. Elrington or a Dickie Bradley. They have been standing up to these people for the last 14, 15 years. Yeah. The difference is, an O.J. Elrington and Dickie Bradley, all these people went to law school. All these people got additional training. They were taught how to do research. They were taught how to advocate. This is what my prosecutors have lacked over the years, the training. Yeah. I will tell you that my deputy, my officer commanding and my deputy will tell you their story. They got to prosecution branch, they were given a file. I remember my officer commanding said he was given a burglary file. And they sent him into court and said, prosecute this matter. This was his second day as a prosecutor. So what has become very necessary, what the commissioner has seen as necessary, is the development for there to be better advocacy. I remember saying to both my minister, the Minister of Home Affairs and the CEO, I feel blessed. I have 2 attorneys coming in. I feel special. Yes. I have 2 attorneys coming in who have advocated in the magistrate's court and know what the deficiencies are. So coming in with a team like my minister, my CEO, the Commissioner of Police, they're all trained attorneys. So they have a different vision of developing prosecution branch to a point where we can actually provide justice for people. The heart of the criminal is, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry to cut you off. I am like, I'm taking it in. I'm taking it in. Yes. But like, I want to get into the root of the training itself. So talk to us about who went through the training and what were the procedures like for advocacy, the methods of the training, the forensic system.
What were the focuses on at the training?
Do you want to talk about that a little bit, George?
So it's the police prosecutors and some orderlies, Alifa, she's basically championing this to bring up people, you know. So she started from orderlies also to include in this training. This is the second training that we've done on this. We did one last year in July in Placencia. Yes. And that was successful. We, you know, the embassy, we have the ability to bring in technical expertise. But what people don't realize is majority of this training were facilitated by Belizeans.
Wow.
Yeah. So we had the chief magistrate, we had the DPP, we had Mr. Darrell Bradley. Yes. And we have our prosecution advisor and Ms. Alifa, who's sitting beside me here. They facilitated this training. And for us, you know, having Belizean do that, that is big. Yes. You know, they're taking ownership of it. And that's very important in our programs that we design for Belize to actually have the vision, which they do have the vision. And for us to fund it, you know, we love funding those type of success stories. And, you know, we try to meet needs where people don't necessarily have that ability. And this is one of those great examples of that. As Alifa mentioned, you know, a lot of the police prosecutors, they love what they do. They love prosecuting the cases. And for me, as the program specialist, I got to actually see this training through, both of them, the one in Placencia and that. And it was amazing. I mean, you watch these prosecutors, you know, talking about what they do passionately. You know, and that's a side that Belizeans don't really see. You know, it's, I wish, well, we can't video it because we get into a different thing. But literally, you know, these are the success stories that that Belizeans need to hear that comes out of these programs. And I'll let Alifa go more in the training portion of it since she was one of the facilitators. But I mean, it's amazing.
But just before we get to Alifa, Adam, you wanted to.
Oh, I would just say, and again, I mean, Alifa will definitely say beautifully the types of programs that we did and all the different types of training we did. I think we have to think also the impact, not just in the 40 prosecutors who are trained, but the potential this has for the country, right? Yes. And we're always looking at the long term. We're looking at the fact that we consider this as one part of a larger package and a larger relationship. And there are specific issues like backlog and other things that we're trying to address. And this is going to help with this, and we are seeing results. Yeah. But again, this is not a one-time thing. As we said, this is a follow-up of a training we did last year. This is what we're going forward. So we're trying to say, we're partnering with Belize and having Belizeans be part of this process of doing this training to say, what can we do to make this better, and how can we work with you as your friend and partner to help you achieve this goal, to have the system that Belize deserves. And so, and with that, Alifa, please tell us.
So our trainings concentrate on advocacy. Last year, we looked at chief examination, cross-examination, re-examination, making submissions, answering objections. So when a Dickie Bradley or the Erskine Ellerington come and they make an objection, the prosecutors are not going to be, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? But they'll be able to stand up and respond smartly. Because sometimes defense attorneys, I'm telling you, the objections are not necessarily going to be objections that you cannot overcome. There are objections that you can respond to, and the magistrate will say, I agree with the prosecution, and we move forward.
And can they detect it if it's tactically done? Because I feel like you
could hear the faultiness in it.
So that's one of the things that we were looking at. So following from last year, we were looking at witness management this year, and you still have to look at chief examination, cross-examination, re-examination, because it's witnesses you're chiefing. You're crossing witnesses. How do you deal with a difficult witness? How do you get a witness to give you, even your witness, who may not understand that they're being difficult, but may have just forgotten? How do you get around those kinds of things? One of the things that Georgia said is that it was Belizeans who facilitated. Of course, my prosecution advisor, which we are very, very grateful for, he's not Belizean, but he has come and he has provided so much assistance for us. But we had the DPP, and I will tell you, I have a orderly who left when we were finished, and we were talking about what they got from the training. The orderly said, I will leave here today knowing that I was the one who cross-examined the DPP and did a good job at it. So these are the things, this is what you want. You want when they leave these trainings where they're looking at the DPP coming in and taking them through a scenario and letting them see the deficiencies, because I will tell you, the DPP brought a scenario to them, and everybody's looking at this scenario and we say, man, if we got cases like this, we would be happy. But when she took them through, they saw the deficiencies, they saw what it is that they were required to do. She was able to allow them, or got them to see that you need to look beyond what is on the paper. You have to look at it from all aspects and get out what you need, plug the holes that you have, so that you can be a better prosecutor. So it was like Georgia said, it was an amazing training. It was a very good training. We are trying to create a succession plan. That is why we brought in orderlies. You have these PCs who are working as an orderly in court for years. They see this every day. When I sit in with my prosecutors, you would see one of them saying, you should me ask this question, you should have asked that question. So the need for succession, the need to develop persons from an orderly to be able to stand up in court one day once they get their promotion and they become corporals, the need for them to have the confidence to know that there is succession at prosecution branch of the Belize Police Department.
Who is an orderly? Just to try and work it down. What's
an orderly is essentially like a marshal in the court. That person is there to maintain order. So if you would go into court, if you ever go into court, you'd see that person usually standing between the magistrate and the magistrate and the defendant, to ensure that there's no issues. So he's there to ensure that there's order in the court. So he's an
I mean, we're not getting that. We don't know the terms of the court, and we should know. We should know the terms of the court. But talk to us about the length of the training. How long did it take? the participation of the participants, the excitement. I feel the excitement from you, you know.
I love the law. I'm very passionate when it comes to the law.
Good.
But the facilitators, like Georgia said, were the chief magistrate, the DPP. I will tell you, my longtime friend, and if you know my history, you would know that we've been friends for many years, Darrell Bradley.
Yes.
Darrell and I came through law school together. And we developed a friendship. And one of the things I will tell you, I say, Darrell, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to do it. And Darrell goes home and he puts it all together and come back and say, here you go. And that is what we do. And I was telling persons, he was away. So a lot of our communication was via Zoom or WhatsApp, where I'm saying, no, this is how I want to do it. This is the vision that I have for this particular training. Yeah. And we were going to bring in the DPP. You're going to bring in the chief magistrate, who is always willing to come and assist, because you need to understand the importance of what we do at the magistrates court. Indeed. So you have to be able to balance it off. You have to be able to say, yes, you have strong prosecutors worthy of going up against defense counsel. Yes. And therefore there is actually a fair playing field when a case is being brought before a magistrate. So the chief magistrate will come in and the chief magistrate will say, you know, I have situations where you just completely forget this, or why do you forget this? And the DPP will come and tell you, listen, you have to get yourself prepared. Yeah. You write down your questions. You write down what it is that are missing from your case. And you do it for every single witness that you have, so that you know how to plug up these things. And she made it even crystal clear that it's not every witness you have to call. You call a witness in relation to supporting what it is that you need to get across to the magistrate for your case.
A lot of people don't realize the DPP and the chief magistrate love to train people.
Yes.
It is different looking at them doing training, but they love it. They're passionate about it, and they're good. Yeah. You know, they can get across it. And I always tell the DPP, man, it's different looking at you training. I mean, it's two great dynamics looking at her in court and looking at her training. It's two things that she's passionate about.
Because she believes in strengthening, especially those within that realm, so as to provide justice for families, which is exactly where I'd like to go. Yes. You know, a lot of people might not believe in the justice system, maybe because we lack this exact training. Families are losing loved ones. Families are telling you that, hey, we're losing loved ones for nothing. And we feel like we're not getting justice.
We feel like the system has failed us.
The system has failed us. And I'd like to go back once again to Alifa and try to bring families into the buy-in. Because in order for the police department or for the justice department to work, there has to be a marriage between the people and the department.
Agreed.
Primarily. So why should I believe in what this training is actually doing for the Justice Department?
Because, like I said, advocacy, it's not just walking into court and saying, well, this is my case and this is how it has to, how you should rule.
Yes.
Advocacy incorporates all of it. And this is why, when I said to Darrell, I want to do a training on witness management, you have to understand that it's a family you're dealing with. When you have a virtual complainant who comes, whatever their issue, when you have somebody who has gotten harmed in a particular way, or when you have somebody who somebody stole something from them, or they broke into that person's house, it is a family you're dealing with. You're dealing with people who have experienced trauma, and therefore you have to be able to understand that. And one of the difficulties that we've had is that COVID has been really, really severe on the prosecution,
and we haven't seen that.
Because of the delay. So some years ago, there was an attorney who said, justice delayed is justice denied. I'm almost certain it was my father, but I'm not too sure. But justice delayed is justice denied.
Yes.
And you're going to find that some people feel like that is what has happened. But we're not looking at it from a holistic perspective, that COVID has really caused a lot of delay. So it all moves into, and Georgia is saying we're doing all of these programs, and the programs is the entire criminal justice system. And you're looking also at the backlog. You have to understand that that's a part of it that has affected us. So when you're dealing with a witness who is fed up of coming to court, I've come here 20 times and I can't get no justice, because you have to know, how do you deal with that person? How do you assure that person, you know what, we understand what you're going through, but just give us an opportunity to take it one step further. One of the things the DPP said to the prosecutors is that I keep my witnesses close to me, you know. I keep them close to me. So this is what has to happen. Witnesses have to feel like their prosecutor is acting for them.
And
exactly.
And,
sure, Adam.
And I just want to say, since Alifa touched on the backlog, the MSA is also partnering with the prosecution and also the court on a backlog reduction program, which started in 2018. And it started long before 2018, because we started off with the bringing in people to assist Belize with the technical expertise to make a criminal procedure rules, which was in 2016. And after that, we moved into case management, training, implementation. And right now, we're actually full-fledged of the backlog reduction program. We've had several iterations of that, trainings, meetings, bringing stakeholders together to talk about it. They did the stock taking between the courts and the prosecution to see what cases we have. And they started to move these cases out. Since April to June, we had 14% of those backlog cases moved reduced. And those are the success rates that people have. So this prosecution training it helps, because cases need to be expedited for justice to be done. And this is, as I said, we're not only on just with the backlog, we're also assisting forensics, which is part of the larger criminal justice sector. We're also assisting the FIU in their investigative portion also, and soon to start with them, civil asset forfeiture assistance with the FIU to bring that on board on their department. But the justice sector, you can't watch on it only as prosecution, because prosecution is just one part
aspect of it,
of the justice sector. So when people are talking about, oh, my case take too long, it starts from arrest onto adjudication, and that's the entire criminal justice sector.
Yes, Adam? I think it's actually a really great point that the fact we're having this conversation today, I think can change people's minds. And I think this is why we want to be here today to talk about this. Because in the end of the day, I understand, it's completely understandable when someone has lost a loved one, why you can believe the system has failed them, and why you can believe that things are not getting fixed as fast as they can. And often it's hard to hear the changes or the improvements that are happening. And I can tell you as a person, I'm a trained lawyer. I know the changes that we're seeing right now in Belize are not easy to make, and they take incredible hard work of both people sitting with me today and many others to make these changes, and they are occurring. And so I think it's exciting to me to have the opportunity to have people say, hey, I know it's dark right now, but look at what we're moving towards. Because you can give up, but that's not a really solution. The best solution is to actually say, I want to fix this. I want to make the system work. And I see right now, I mean, Jordan and I were stuck in a car together for 70 minutes talking about all the changes, all the improvements, and it is an incredible list.
There's a lot. There's a lot. And the thing is, government, it's all from your government's vision. Belize government has the vision, ask for assistance to fix it. And so the Belizean people have to know that. They have to understand. But fixing or assisting in moving stuff through the criminal process and correcting some of the bottlenecks takes a while. So we're moving towards that. And I'm telling you, it's exciting within the criminal justice sector, because we have stakeholders buy-in, we have people excited to move these cases forward.
So then let me ask you this then. What is one thing that you think your participants took away from this training? One thing that you know will stick 100% for the rest of their lives?
That they need to go in, when they're looking at their cases, they need to look at it from two perspectives. They need to look at it from the perspective of a defense counsel coming in and looking and finding the gaps in your case, then they need to go back as a prosecutor and plug in the gaps.
Yeah.
I think that is what most of them said, I believe,
Yes.
when we finished the training and we were asking that question. But they've learned how to do it from a different perspective. You have to really look at it and understand your case.
Primarily.
Understand what it is that you're going into court to lead evidence for. What it is that what story you're going to create for the magistrate to understand and follow you before you can actually prosecute and get a successful prosecution.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is, you know. I have to tell the magistrate a story. The story that this witness has come to me and said, this is what happened to me.
Yeah.
And I have to be able to take you through that story so you could understand and be sure that the person that is there is guilty of the offense that they're charged with.
You have your evidence to back up your
Yes.
Excellent. I'll tell you, just having the conversation is an eye-opener for us.
Yes.
Simply because we know that there must be the buy-in to the justice system, so everybody could be on board. You get the witnesses you need, so that we can, so that things can unfold and justice is served to those who need it to be served.
So, for the participants, is this the first time some of them were even hearing about some of these
Yes.
methods and this advocacy training?
So they do it, the participants would see it every day.
Okay.
Orderlies would see it every day. This is the life that you live when you walk into court and you do whatever it is that you're doing in a court system. So the prosecutors would know. But it's a different perspective when you get the best prosecutor in Belize to come and say, this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is how we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, you look at it from a different perspective when the chief magistrate is coming and saying, this is when I'm sitting here, this is what I see, this is what you need. And I think it needs to be crystal clear, because we're talking about the chief magistrate, and the chief magistrate should be impartial.
Yeah.
But her coming in and being a part of her training doesn't mean that she's pro-prosecution. And I need to make that explicitly clear, because we're talking about the chief magistrate coming in and she sits as the finder of fact, the finder of law.
Right.
But for her to be able to say, listen, there's simple things that you can do to better your advocacy. You know, especially if you're going up against somebody who had 5 years, man, it's 5 years we stay at law school, you know.
Yeah.
You're the 5 years at university, then you go to Jamaica for 2 years for they teach you advocacy. I will tell you, it's one thing we'll learn in Jamaica and the next thing when you come here. But the point is, you have 5 years of being trained, being taught to look at the law a particular way, to do research a particular way. When I have prosecutors who are taught to be police officers, that is what you're taught to be. That is where they put you on the street. Then they take you off the street and say, go to prosecution branch, and you know. So, but that again, even that is changing, and this is what I'm saying. They're right when they say you have to have the buy-in, because I have to have the buy-in from the commissioner. When I'm saying, commissioner, this is what I want to do, and I'll tell you, he might be thinking, well, I'm not so sure I'll leave her going, but I will leave her to do what she has to do. So
important you mentioned is of course research methods.
Yes.
And I feel, you know, I could remember in college, and we're being taught research method, and in my mind I think, God, see, research method.
It's a very important skill to have.
It's a very important skill, and I'd like for you to touch on that briefly, about a minute, because we have to go. I don't get a sign.
Yes.
Daily steel third base, you know how it is. You know? But touch on that a little bit, and the importance of it, and what we've seen so far out of the training.
So the law is about proving your case with supporting documentation. When you go and you lead the evidence of a witness and there's an objection in relation to whatever it is that you may be bringing in, they may object and say, that is not relevant, that is not admissible. You have to be able to say, yes, it's admissible because the law says this or the law says that. And for you to do that, you have to know what the law is. So you have to be able to look through all the books, look through the legislation, and bring that to the court to say, this is why I'm saying that I can do it this way, because I have these documentation to support what I'm saying. So research is extremely important, and we try to put an aspect of research in every training that we do. Understanding what it is that you're looking for, what it is that you're going to find to support your case. You can't just bring the case and can't explain to the magistrate what the case is saying. You have to be able to say, these are the reasonings coming out of this case, and this is why I'm using this case to support my argument. But one thing before we go, what I really want to say is it's very important that we have the support of the United States Embassy, the United States through the embassy, because I will tell you, my dream for prosecution was made what it is because of a simple conversation I had with Georgia at a completely different training. I'm saying, Georgia, this is what I want to do. And Georgia said, well, let's do it. So because when you're looking at our whole system, you look at the justice system and money is allocated to the justice system, it's never enough. It's never going to be enough. We're like Oliver Twist. I said, please, may I have some more? So it's never going to be enough. So when you have partnerships like that of the United States that will come in and give you what you need to make your staff better, it is just an amazing.
Are we going to see any more of these trainings?
Well, I hope so. I really and truly hope so.
I had a question for Georgia.
Anything else in the pipeline?
Certainly. We would like to see another iteration of an advocacy like this again for them. Training is continuous. Training has to be continuous for any success of a program.
Of course.
So we're doing training, so we're also evaluating. So those two actually have to go together. You have to evaluate what are your success, and then you have to adjust based on your evaluation. And so that's basically what we're trying to do. We've always are willing partners with the government of Belize to facilitate trainings like these, especially when we have partners who are,
as passionate
and also excited to move these stuff forward. We need those buy-ins. We need, and we have it. We have it here.
We do.
And that is very critical for our programs. And for the larger justice sector, we will continue. We have in the pipeline curriculum development, a curriculum development program for the prosecution branch. We have a train-the-trainer component of that, where we're going to train police prosecutors to actually be trainers. So they can actually deliver some of these training themselves as police prosecutors.
That's right.
We're also doing a curriculum development for the magistrate court, also to better prepare them in their line. And we're also going to have a train-the-trainer component for that. We try to do train-the-trainer component for all our programs, because to the end of the day, we have to, our funding can only go so much. And we have to build that sustainable programs. We did that for forensics, and I'm telling you, forensics actually train police how to do evidence collection. They train other agencies, because not all the time they're in a position where they can call the scenes of crime to collect those evidence. And so sometimes it's the police officers who have to do that. But they have to ensure the chain of custody is there, the collection is to standards. And so they're doing that based on trainer component that we've done, and we are also giving them
Adam, final words.
I can definitely say that the commitment between the United States and Belize is not going anywhere. We are, what we say, in it to win it. We are as excited. We are so excited about these progress, and we're so excited about all these things we're achieving. We're going to be seeing more of this coming ahead. And I know that when we look forward, I mean, at the end, I don't want to say the word ride or die, but I would say it's not inappropriate. We're going to make it. We're making a difference, and we're going to keep doing so.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Georgia, Alifa, Adam, thank you so very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Conversation well received.
I mean, we could have gone more, but we have time. Yes.
All right. Well, we got to take a break though, and when we come back, the next conversation, a very important one again. This one is going to be with the director of Monarch Counseling and consulting will be joining us and tell us about the prevention of suicide. It's a very important conversation. We'll have that when we come back. Stay with us.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how when and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
V-Bucks by Benny's, Belize's newest multi-brand rewards program. To access V-Bucks, download the mobile app or access the website portal at vbucks.bz and set up your account. If you already have a Benny's account, chances are you already have V-Bucks. Don't let them go to waste. To earn V-Bucks, make a purchase at any Benny's location or at any of these Benny's entities, namely Island Freight Forwarders, Best Manufacturing, Benquip, and B-Mart. Once V-Bucks are earned, reward yourself. Use V-Bucks to buy items or exchange for cash. You can also double, triple, or even quadruple your V-Bucks on promotional days. It is simple. Purchase, earn, redeem. Loyalty is always rewarding with V-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
It's almost lunchtime and Alice is getting hungry and forgot to bring cash. She remembers that eCash now has a geolocation feature in which she can easily view the eCash merchants near her, especially restaurants. Her co-workers also ask her to order food for them.
Chicken chow mein, please, and a Coke.
The merchant sends her the payment link. She taps confirm, and within a few minutes, her food is delivered. Alice then views her transaction history and taps on the transaction recently made. Then taps the split the bill button where she selects the unevenly option and moves the bar to the desired amount per person. The request is then sent to her friends. Her colleagues accept the request and are ready to enjoy their meals. Geolocation and splitting the bill via eCash make Alice's life a whole lot easier.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
back.
We're back.
We're back just like that, and it's that time for the second conversation, April. You know, this is one that is extremely important, especially following the onset of a pandemic, and how you try to wrap your mind of dealing with it, dealing with the family, dealing with all the hardships or what we feel are. You know, and I feel the conversation will direct us into that space where there is a way out. Exactly. So we're sitting here with the director, the director of Monarch Counseling and Consulting, my sister, none other than Krista Courtney, mental health counselor and manager at Monarch Counseling and Consulting.
Thank you.
Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and I'm so happy to be here again for another very important conversation.
Yes.
We like that to you.
Thanks for
we like that
Thank you.
But so yesterday was World Suicide Prevention Day, and everyone was having this conversation, and we wanted to tap into the mindset. I know you can't always pinpoint certain persons that are having these kinds of thoughts, but how are you able to, as a friend, somebody from the outside, have a conversation with someone that you know is struggling, and it's a very sensitive conversation to have, and you don't want to tip the scales or to take it to a place where it didn't need to go, and you probably shouldn't have said anything. So how do you start that kind of conversation?
Well, that is honestly, I think, one of the major misconceptions about the whole topic. I mean, suicide is essentially a word that describes how someone has passed, right? It's so you die by car accident, you die by heart attack, you die by suicide. So it's not like, it shouldn't be a scary word. I think because we don't talk about it enough, it is very scary. And again, like most things, if I feel something and it's overwhelming and I don't think people understand, I tend to hold it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not feeling like you have to hold it in is one of the first little steps that helps to break that pathway to feeling that suicide is the only way that I can get relief. And so having being willing to even have the conversation, and most people feel that if I bring it up, if I ask my friend how they're doing, I'm afraid of what they might say. What if they say something and I don't know what to do with it? Right? And so there's a chain reaction, because if I don't know what to do, or I don't know who to call, or I don't know who to refer them to, then now I am sitting with this and I'm scared. And so there's just an avoidant type attitude towards it, because we're still really scared of it, and there's still a lot of stigma around mental health issues. There are thousands of people in Belize living and functioning every day with severe mental illness. They're functioning, but for how long? Right? It's like if you have a broken leg and they tell you that you have to stay off of it for 8 weeks, but you feel like after 4 weeks, I have to go to work, I have to earn my paycheck, I have to do this, I have to do that. The healing period takes longer if you don't follow the protocols for that particular injury. And so with mental illness, there are protocols, there are things you can do to manage that illness. You may not be able to fully make it go away, but there are techniques, just like diabetes or heart health or anything else. There are techniques and skills and tools to add to your toolbox to help you manage that conversation. So the first thing I would say to someone who is worried about a friend, ask, are you having suicidal thoughts? And if they say yes, then you go on Mind Health Connect's website, mindhealthconnect.com, and you find whoever can speak to that person. Oftentimes, just having someone know that they're having these thoughts releases the intensity a little bit. Pulls you back like 2 steps from the edge. So you're not generally asking about this is not going to tip someone over the edge. Dismissing it, making a joke about it, saying it's weak, calling people stupid for doing this over because they think they understand the situation, that will tip somebody over the edge more than asking, hey, I notice you're sad, I notice you're withdrawing, are you having suicidal thoughts? Like, is this something we need to talk about? And often just being able to express it will release the tension. The tension may build up again, so it may require additional steps, but at least now somebody knows and they didn't judge me for it. They just said, girl, you know, like, or guy, I'm so happy you told me. I really don't know what to do with this,
but
I'm happy you shared it with me. Like, what can I do? You know?
But Crystal, let me throw this in. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's actually the cognizance that you're actually feeling that way. There are many times you talk to somebody and you ask them how you're feeling, and they say, "I don't know." You know, you get in that space where I don't know. And maybe the thought is all the way behind the mind, but you hear the word and it might just be then there and then the answer. You know, I'm sorry that I'm bringing it from that light, but that's what I feel the reality is. How do you approach? I feel the approach is very important in terms of how do you approach these people. And at the same time, how do I know that that's what I'm going through? Tell us about some of the signs that, you know, somebody is on the edge, or I might be. For me personally, I'm on the edge. How do I get or become cognizant of that?
Yeah. And it's different for everybody. If you can imagine, for instance, a family that has 4 children, different ages, maybe 2-3 years apart. They're in the same family, they live in the same house, they have the same perhaps mother and father, they have the same access to education, they all go to the same school, they all eat the same food at dinner time or whatever, but they'll each have a still very different experience and perspective of their entire family dynamic, because they're all seeing it from their own position. So it's first important to realize that your position, how you see things, is important. And if you are constantly feeling just a lot of things to the point where you cannot pinpoint one, you probably need to talk to a professional to help you sort it out. That's one of the signs that you need to reach out for somebody who knows more than you, or who knows more than your friend or your spouse. I love when people come in and I'm like, you know, so what are you thinking? What's been happening this week? I don't even know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know means I can't pick one. I don't know means there's too many. I think there's some that are connected to some stuff, but I'm afraid to say it out loud. So I don't know is just the safest way to express it's a lot, doc. Like it's a lot. And I don't even know where to start. Right? So obviously, wellness type related exercises. So things that help a lot with just managing emotions on a regular basis are the things that we eat. A healthy diet can contribute to a healthier mood. Things like yoga, or yoga related exercises, Pilates if that's the case, even the karate or capoeira or those types of things. Things that get you connected with your body, where you have to be really aware of where your body is, the sensations within your body. You have to listen to where your edges are. Your body will say, you can't do that today. If you push past, you injure. But we don't have the same awareness emotionally. And pandemic, and it's one of the things, the good things that has come out of the pandemic is that it moved up this conversation, I'm sure, by several years. It's like everybody has been touched in a way that now it's safe to talk about, because we all went through the pandemic. Everybody can see it. Everybody can feel it. And so it's brought up this conversation, which I'm happy about, but there's still so much fear-based reactions that it makes it still really challenging and unsafe sometimes for people to express how they're feeling.
Why do you feel, do you feel that we are heavily reluctant to have the conversation about suicide because it means for the family death?
There's a lot of different reasons. If you look at the history of suicide at one point was illegal. Right? So if you think about where things have come from, we talk about the colonialism of Belize all the time. Things that we're entrenched with that we don't even realize, our unconscious biases towards certain things. And so if you make something illegal, it's criminal to make an attempt on your life. You have already categorized it as something that is a misfit, an outcast, something that's not normal, something that, you know, and then the taboo around it, you never talked about it. I mean, many communities don't even report it as a suicide, so that we don't even know accurate statistics about how often this is happening. So it's always been something that people didn't know how to deal with as a society. People didn't understand. And if somebody dies by suicide, you can't go ask them. You don't have, if they leave a note, that is a snapshot of what they were going through for a long period of time generally before they actually reach the point where they're successful with suicide. And so even that, we use the term commit suicide, which now we're understanding just reinforces that old outcast illegal type term. So we've now, I think we've changed the law so that in Belize in particular, it's no longer illegal. But at the same time, there's still this language that just gets passed on generation to generation. We don't talk about it. And many families are touched by it, but even in their own family unit, don't know how to have a conversation with each other.
How do you, from a family standpoint, how do you explain, or not explain to a family, but how do you as a family have that conversation? Do we as a family have to seek professional services in terms of how to get it started? There's somebody in the household who might be suffering from mental health disease, and we have seen a few things or detected that, you know what, this person seemed to be on the ledge. Not the edge, on the ledge, like we're right there. But at the same time, the family have been seeing it for a while, and it could be tiring. Remember that bottom of the bucket one dropout situation? So how do families try to bring themselves back, knowing that it's something that is reoccurring? You do get tired, but at the same time, that is your loved one.
Yeah. Again, each situation is going to be unique in and of its own. I always encourage families to have these conversations, maybe not with the younger kids, but couples or people who are in relationships with each other, to talk about these things. But if you feel that you're talking and you keep going in circles, it keeps cycling to this ledge type of point, like maybe you come back from the ledge, but then you end up back there, it means that whatever you're doing likely isn't enough and it isn't working, right? Even just the idea, how many people are at their jobs for 30 years and they get frustrated with management change and they're like, okay, this isn't working for me anymore. At the point we start to reevaluate what's working and what's not working in our lives is usually the point where something, we keep bucking, it's not working, I can't go on like this anymore. But that's usually, I mean, when you look back, you can see that that progression started quite a while ago. But we just keep going. We just keep doing what we know to do. We don't know as a community, as a family, how to stop and say, all right, what's happening here and what resources do we need to put towards it? It's also something that's hard to access, right? A lot, and we're trying to do more and be out there more, and Mind Health Connect to, you know, have the website that's accessible for people so that you have, from your own little personal device, you can see who you want to see or who's available in your area. But it's still not widespread enough. The resources are few, but we're still working very hard to try and increase that.
So when you do get to that stage of, okay, I've accepted that there's something wrong, I need to seek help. The coming forth to actually getting that help. How do you now move them to that stage of, all right, I need to go and I need to see Krista. I need to be able to sit and actually talk to her, not just sit there and have a staring competition, right? So how do you move forward?
There's a lot of ways you can support people. So it's part of what they teach in peer helper training, like at the high school level, because I'm a peer helper, but I'm certainly not a therapist, right? You can't solve anybody's problem. But the training is in listening skills. The training is in how to say, you know what, I know somewhere that you can get help. Would you like me to help you make an appointment? I can give you the number, you can call or text, or I can make it for you, right? So any little bridging of that gap that we can do to get somebody to somebody is generally going to be helpful. Because again, it's all about feeling safe to reach out. Feeling comfortable enough to reach out. And that's a big move.
Majority of the communities that see these kinds of conversations as taboo, or, you know, as my grandma said, just say a couple of Hail Marys and call it a day, right? You know, they can't necessarily afford proper health care and services. So what happens then to folks that really that need it? They know they need it, but they can't afford it.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there are many people that fall through that crack, right? It's something that we continue to advocate for, both through Mental Health Association and Mind Health Connect, and I'm sure there's other groups advocating as well to kind of augment our social response. There are some conversations trying to be had too on some plans, although they'll take some long-term effort. But what we're seeing is that there is, because nobody knows how to talk about it, because it's very difficult to fund as well, or to understand and see the impact, the resources are just not there. And so you have several people I know in Belize who are in private practice like myself, and our group practice, so there's other therapists with us there at Monarch. But you have people working private practice, you have people working public sector as well. The Community Rehabilitation Center has free counseling, at least here in Belize City, and I know that the ministry is working on increasing that and making sure that there's one in each district so people can access it. But I'm still guessing that those are going to be overrun with long waiting lists, and it's hard. So we use people like community workers, right, to try and assist them in knowing how to support in the moment, maybe keep moving people back from the edge until they can really get the support that they need. And what breaks that barrier and gives people access to a lot more people than just professionals. I mean, you may end up needing a professional at some point, but that middle road sometimes really can help save a person's life. So smiling at somebody, having a conversation with somebody, checking in on them, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how's the day today? Just being able to share how I'm feeling with someone else, sometimes just witnessing that with someone, just being there, is a lot, right? It's really like everything in that moment to just pull them back those 2 little steps and just, you know, wait a little bit longer to see if you can get them to help. So there's teachers generally in schools who you find all the kids like and are comfortable talking to. There's the one that they're going to share everything with. And so you try to find whoever you can that's slightly above where you are, connect them and see how we can just bridge and hold that person's hand until we can get them to the proper care. And sometimes that's enough to kind of give them enough time to turn the tide.
You've mentioned Mind and Body Connect.
Mind Health Connect,
Mind
please.
Health Connect. Tell us a little about that. We know the time is not, time is dwindling just like that. Tell us a little about that, because I feel if there is a platform or if there is a spot that I can go to quickly reach out because I'm not feeling like myself, then that would be a better help for me. Like you mentioned, it's a 2-step back type of thing, so you could get the proper health care that you need.
Yeah, so Mind Health Connect is a non-governmental organization, but our main push is to make sure that people have the information that they need. So it's more of an information sharing platform rather than a hotline. That is something that we have on our plan to do a hotline, but there's a lot of things that go into that, and you have to have the amount of people to answer the call. Can you imagine calling a hotline and nobody answers? Because you don't have enough trained people to handle that phone call.
And then how do you take that phone call?
Right. And then the main part about having a hotline is the support services, right? So when you train Red Cross First Aid people, they're there to handle a physical injury, and they've already called the ambulance. The ambulance is on the way, right? And then the ambulance comes and the ambulance takes over, and they take that person then to the hospital where the doctors are. A lot of our psychological first aid, we don't have anybody to call. Who are we going to call to come and help? So people are often very hesitant to get involved because they don't know what to do or who to call. Mind Health Connect is there. You can call and ask what to do. We can advise, for instance, you can call the number and it's like, this person is doing this, what do I do? We can try to give you some resource or tell you head to the hospital, make this phone call, tell them this, so that the PNPs are there, the system that we do have, you can try to access. And so Mind Health Connect is there, mindhealthconnect.com. It's an information website at this point, and then the other advocacy activities that we're constantly doing to raise awareness.
What do you think that we can do as community members, as civilians, to break that that barrier of mental health being something difficult to talk about and something taboo? You know, I mean, we're here having this conversation, and our viewers at home are listening, but you know, half of them are probably tuning it out because this is not a conversation I want to hear, or I don't think I need this conversation.
Yeah.
So what do you think we can do as civilians to break that barrier?
I think, honestly, even people who are not suffering with mental illness, just talking about different stressors and struggles, it's not talking about it like to complain per se, but sharing that we all feel this way, this is normal to feel this way. People who are in therapy, I find, I love when my clients turn into little therapists, you know, they're like, oh, you need therapy, and here's a number. Like, they start to be able to recognize that, okay, I've been through this and I've had help, and this sounds like something you need to go to somebody for. Like, I can't help you with this. But people's personal experience, word of mouth, being willing to share information, being willing to just share your own struggle. We need a lot more people talking about it, so that people who are feeling it can relate and feel like, okay, I'm not alone completely.
There are people who might be getting these services, but for them might not be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. It continues to be the two-step back, but I continue to make that two-step right back forward. How do you cope with that, you know, as a professional, and how do you like, and how do these people cope with that?
Yeah, every case is unique, you know, and if you're coming for one issue and we can deal with that issue and then we can prevent it from escalating to something that's harder to manage, that's obviously preferred. But sometimes we get people who've just been struggling for a really long time, who've had early childhood trauma, which has kind of wired that nervous system to behave this way. And so there's different therapies now that are available, that we're noticing different types of protocols that we can use that's more than just talk therapy. Talk therapy is important and it really helps. But I noticed that, you know, we're trying to augment our training and our protocols to be able to deal with more complex issues, and we're seeing good results, albeit slow. But there are some people who just are not going to be able to respond.
So let's wrap up with Monarch and Monarch Counseling and Consulting. Where can we find you? Where can we call you? How do we get into? How do we call Krista? I need help.
Well, you can WhatsApp our number or call 670-6080. The website is there, monarchbelize.com, and I usually direct people there so that they can check out the counselor profiles. You can see the picture, what their areas of expertise are, and you can kind of make a choice. Just like you find a doctor that you like, and you leave this one because you don't like how they talk to you or their bedside manner or whatever. Picking a therapist is just that important. So you need to be able to feel safe, you need to be able to connect, you need to feel comfortable to say things that are really uncomfortable. And so if you meet one and you don't connect well, it's quite fine to move on to someone else until you find somebody that you connect with, because all of our styles are different.
Right.
You know, how we present ourselves are different, and it's not always a good match with everybody. But I always advocate you are the customer. And so you need to find the provider that serves you the way that you need.
And can we have Zoom services? I might live in
This
Fiji,
is the
but I've
one
heard
thing.
about Krista.
This is the one thing that, like, it even pushed me out of my comfort zone. When COVID hit, we had just renovated our offices to expand, to have more people to be able to provide services. So people have a variety of people they can choose from. And then we were in lockdown for like 4 months. So we have this brand new office and
nobody could go in.
We can't go in. I didn't like the virtual therapy, but we've gotten really accustomed to it. And so there are certain protocols that we follow to make sure that people's privacy and confidentiality are protected. But absolutely, it is now available in a way that everybody is far more willing to try or do, whereas they might not have been before. So it did kind of open it up quite big.
All right.
So yes, virtual services are available.
All right, Krista Courtney, mental health counselor and manager at Monarch Counseling and Consulting.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Conversations like these, we need
You're welcome to come back anytime.
But of course, so when we call you up because we need for finance slap.
That's okay, call me.
Yes.
Hey, we're going to take a break. That was a very interesting and important conversation, but we need to take a break. And when we come back, we'll be having a...
It's going to be a very different feeling, vibe, and setup because we got John best friend, Loverboy, in the studio, and he will be here to discuss all about their new upcoming singles and what we can expect from them. Him and his son will be in studio, so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Wives, submit to your husbands as is fitting for those who belong to the Lord. Husbands, love your wives and never treat them harshly." The Bible has much to say about the role of a husband and wife in marriage and their respect for one another. The husband should not be a tyrant, nor the wife a governor, but both treated with dignity and love. I heard of one woman whose husband acted like a tyrant who controlled and dominated her life. Then one day she died and arrived in heaven to be greeted by Peter, who informed her that she had to pass a test to get in. She responded, "You know I'm a Christian, and I have trusted Jesus, and my sins are forgiven." Peter said, "I know that, but you still have to pass this test." She then asked, "What kind of a test?" Peter said, "It's a spelling test." "Well, what is a word?" Peter replied, "Love." "Oh, that's easy. L-O-V-E. Great, you passed. Come on in." A few weeks later, Peter informed her he needed her to welcome the newcomers and give the test. She reluctantly agreed, but after a few days, who would show up but her controlling husband? She said, "Oh, it's good to see you, honey, but you have to take a test." He said, "You know I'm a Christian." She replied, "I know that, but I had to take a spelling test and you will too." He asked, "Well, what is the word?" And she replied, "Czechoslovakia." You better love and respect your wives and guard their lives as Jesus loved the church and gave his life for it, or you may have to learn to spell Czechoslovakia one day. Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new SmartStream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, SmartStream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with SmartStream.
My parents always said, when it's time to build, invest in quality products that last a lifetime, even if it means paying a little more. It is now my turn to invest in my own home, and it's not even a question. It has to be Oran Windows. My contractor recommends Oran because of the heavy-duty construction, the thickest gauge blades on the market, and the dual locks that allow lower louvers to close independently for privacy while the top remains open for airflow. These features make Oran aluminum louver windows the best on the market.
With Oran aluminum louver windows, you get strength, durability, and beauty with an added layer of security and protection against debris and damaging winds. Come in and check out the variety of sizes and colors at Design Depot, located at Mile 3 Philip Goldson Highway in Belize City.
Keep still now.
Ouch.
I tell you no move.
Ma, you really can't get a mannequin for this, ma? Really?
Well, son, if I never lend you the $2,000 to buy the kids' computer and the book, I may have the money for buy my mannequin.
It's definitely better to borrow from the bank than from your friends or relatives. This way, all you owe is money.
Would you like me to turn around?
That would be good. Turn on, turn on, turn on.
Take advantage of the back-to-school promotion currently being offered by the Belize Bank.
Been drinking all night, feeling so high, better not drive, won't even try.
Been drinking all night, feeling so high, better not drive, ain't gon' try. Been drinking all night, feeling so high, better not drive, ain't gon' try. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. People die every day, I'm not going with ya. I'ma find my own way, I'm not going with ya. It's okay, I'll wait. Even good people make mistakes. I don't wanna realize when it's too late. Drinking and driving is never safe. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. If you're drinking and driving, I'm not going with ya. Been drinking all night, feeling so high, better not drive, ain't gon' try. Been drinking all night, feeling so high, better not drive, ain't gon' try.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and we're moving now into our third and final segment for the morning. April, you ready for this?
Yeah, ready? Long time.
This is about it, you know.
And
it bring you Lee Boy, you know.
Yeah.
This is none other than Lover Boy. This is Lover Boy. All right. And he's been joined by his son. That's Prince Jamani. All right, Prince Jamani is in with us. But let's formally do this thing.
Okay.
This is not anybody that we're talking to.
It's a deal of
We're talking to a Belizean icon. We're talking to son of the soil, loved by everybody, well-recognized music across the world. As a matter of fact, he is the International Reggae and World Music Award winner. He is Belize's #1 international hit machine. Ladies and gentlemen, Lover Boy.
Nearly start performing.
You hear from water.
Listen, remember how I said I'm a perform? Watch, I nearly jump out the start. Such a great introduction, definitely. Top of the morning, Belize. It is I, Lover. Boy, no that. Yes, sir.
I
feel like he might get the fun perform just now.
I didn't tell you the truth. Welcome home, Prince. Welcome home.
Yes.
It's so nice to have you guys in the studio. We know that you guys have been all across this world performing here, there, and everywhere. But you're a son of the soil. You're back home.
Great
Tell us about your feeling, your thoughts. We're coming to you, Prince.
Yes.
We're coming to you, my little boy.
Yeah.
But let's talk to Lover Boy. What's the feeling like right now, man? What's
up? I yesterday me and Prince Jamani made a talk about this. I feel like, you know, I am in the best space I've ever been in, both in my life and musically. And for me, it blend. You understand me? So I could not ask for a better reception.
Yeah.
You know, from our people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Make I tell you something. No make no ghost fool you. No matter how big an artist get,
yeah,
they need and want, and it is essential to be relevant.
Yeah.
And mean something home.
Yeah.
So for the Most High to have blessed Loverboy with that,
yeah,
I couldn't ask for anything more. You know what I mean? I can't stop hug up and shake hand and listen to me. Believe I love you now, understand it by now.
Yeah.
No dirt.
I want to go into your career for a little bit, because we know Loverboy home, but you've been on your tours, you've been seeing a lot of places, you've been holding so many concerts.
Yes.
So talk to us from where you started and where you're now.
Man, that's a good one. This you're not good. Yeah. So Loverboy started off mainly as a writer for other artists.
Yeah.
I don't think that's something many people know. And
yeah.
It no matter, and I would probably, you know what I mean, the lead bills they get paid.
Yeah,
you understand me? And interestingly enough, so I was taking meetings, and one of the meetings that I took was with Def Jam Records.
Oh, wow.
And they were all set to sign me, and everybody excited. But in their time, they asked me, well, where are you from? Belize. Anybody know you there? Start scratching my head. Then, you understand me?
Yeah.
So they sent me, they said, listen, go home, because you need a base, and your base is home, because when the international market is not moving as fast, you can always go home.
Yeah.
In came Tornado.
Yeah, well, that was like the biggest, one of the biggest hits.
Still growing.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, that record still grows. So that record come because I say I had to come original. You understand me? I have to respect the what the artists, the great artists, amazing artists that are doing here, what they are doing here, and I had to come my own way. And you know, so I decided to write something named Tornado, and then we did Wine It featuring the General, and then we just the records just start pour. You understand what I mean? So when I first come home, I never want to left, and every time I cross that border store, I want to cross and back, come back. So it's been a journey. It's been an interesting journey. It's been hill and gully.
It's been a while. It's been a while. You know, and I really and truly love and appreciate the story, especially with the Def Jam. Def Jam is world recognized, and you know them approaching you. That's major.
Yes,
that's major. But I also want to hit something that I think Belizeans need to understand. Belizean performers, artists need to understand that sometimes life actually puts you in a spot whereby you might not expect.
Yes, sir.
So you've been at a low. You've been there. You've been there, and you found your way out now. And listening to your intro, saying that you know what, you never thought that you'd be in this particular space. How did you transform that into what you're doing now, or how you feel now?
You know, it's an ongoing process.
Yeah.
It's not over.
Yeah.
I am always open about the fact that I am PTSD. I am anything where you can imagine. I messed up in the head, right? And that is real. You know what I mean? Depression, the whole nine, because that is a part of me. I embrace every part of me, and I try to channel it into my art, right?
Yeah.
So I always give honor and glory to the Most High, because none of this I couldn't do by myself.
Of course.
You know what I mean? It's God and it's the people, because I could sing anything where I want to sing in my own bathroom. But if nobody no love it, nobody no subscribe to it, nobody no like it, nobody no give me the go ahead, then it's not a career, right? So in answering your question, I feel nothing but grateful. I feel honored. Prince Jamani is my highlight. You know, having Prince Jamani next to me, I always say he's the best part of me.
Oh man!
So then that goes right into the segue for bringing Prince Jamani. So
definitely.
Let's talk about your journey, right? I know you never always sing alongside with your dad. So where did that inspiration start to formulate in you, and you decide, you know what, I want to do this?
Can you repeat the question, please?
So when did you know that you wanted to be an artist and a singer?
Like your dad.
Like your dad.
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I always liked music because he always plays music. And my grandmother, rest in peace, always played music. And there's a lot of musical influences around me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you grow up listening to, like Andy Palacio and
classics, bro.
You grow up listening to Bob Marley and, of course, Buju Banton. He always plays that guy. you have no choice but to, soak it all in.
Yeah.
But Yeah, so that's where it came from, is being around that, and then seeing my dad, obviously, his passion for it when I was like 6 and he was like,
no, say nothing. Watch yourself, my brother.
See,
Ugaro too?
Ugaro. I don't know how to pronounce them, so I don't want to embarrass, you know. How you say it?
Ugaro.
Okay, what he said.
Say it, son. Say it with the...
I'm gonna embarrass myself, you know. But growing up, listening to that, you know, on the way to school or at the laundromat or before dinner or whatever, like, you have no choice. And then seeing him like go on stage and seeing him practice, it made me want to, you know, do that. It made me want to definitely touch a mic. So
yeah. So you've been, you know, you guys, of course, growing up with Dad. I feel, and I'll tell you this. One of the things that he's doing when he's listening to Bob and he's listening to Uguru and he's listening to Buju, he's actually listening to stories, because that's what those guys, they do. They speak about that life experience. Right. And that is one of his motivation. Me and the man, they have that conversation, and I know that.
Yeah, and watch us know, like,
because that's what we do as soul brothers.
Yes.
Now, Prince, tell us about how, like, when you're out there performing with him, or when you're out there doing things, what's that feeling like? I mean, I saw you guys in the carnival, and even after back session, I got a Clippers jersey. What's that feeling like, being with Dad, well-recognized man, and people are out there actually chanting you guys on?
If I'm being honest with you, I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah?
This is my first ever carnival. I was just like, the songs were like very like jumpy. It was like, like the whole time. So like, I wasn't really thinking about nothing. I was just like, the music was touching me. Mind you, it's my first ever, so like, yeah, I'm performing, but I'm also like analyzing what's going on around me. It's my first time ever like seeing what's going around. So I guess like the music was in me. That's why I was jumping to it.
Do you sing too?
Yes, sir, I do.
Sweet.
So how did you compare, performing at Carnival to performing at other stages and arenas with your dad?
I like the Belizean crowds better, because they actually like interact with you.
Yeah.
The American crowds, like me, they know me because I'm from there, and they know my dad, obviously. But like, they're more like, they take it all in. They just stare at you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of awkward. But like out here, like they'll like dance with you, or they'll literally pull you and grab. Like they pulled me a bunch of times. I had to have my Uncle Luna grab me from, you know, from the crowd, and like I like it better, like the crowd out here, because it feels more like a party than like a performance. Personally.
I love that, my son.
But coming home then and watching your son grow in this industry with you, what do you think he's getting out of this Belizean experience with you right now?
Well, what Belize I love, first of all. So that's it. You know, once my son could experience the love and the rich culture of our country, then I feel like he can be an ambassador of sorts to say, you don't need to go there. You don't need to go spend on a link, bring us water there. That's my thing, you understand me? But we, you know, we live one time, and our whole goal, right, is to make sure that we live in the moment, make sure that we, you know, do everything that we could do. Life is all about choices, right? So I choose, and I try to teach my son, of course, that we choose love. You know, energy is transferable. So we want to do our part to transfer love, to transfer just love into the universe, and hopefully that spread from person to person. Yeah, that's our goal. Yeah, you know.
Oh, they wrap up slowly, but I can't make you go without the ask. What is new for Lover Boy? What do we expect while he's here at home? And in terms of music, what you got out?
Watch out, I do this fast.
Okay. We're prepared.
Boom. So couple of things. Number one, the gear we're to wear is by a Garifuna designer, right? You know, and you could go up on Facebook and log on to Libertas States.
I was looking at it. I was looking at that one.
Libertas States.
Right down to your hat, too?
Yeah, right down to the hat and everything like that, right? And then, so that's one thing. Come, Sonia.
I want to sit down.
So, that's Libertas States, number one. Number two, I have to big up Boss Life Entertainment, Heavy D. Classic school artist, brought Lover Boy. I was flown in to be a part of this carnival with the Drum Street Posse. And I want to big up everybody. Man, me never know people put so much effort and love into that culture, where I get back to that. Bro. You understand me? Like, just the passion. Big up to all of the youths where they're out there. They're all winners, and I mean that in every form. And then, boom, Friday, we will be at the Marion Jones Sporting Complex, night. My first show there. Please come on. We plan to leave it all on the stage.
My goodness,
we are joined by other dynamic artists on the come.
Yeah.
Then we moving on. We're headlining the Beer Fest in Cayo, September 16th. Then we're moving on to Orange Walk Carnival, the 21st. And we're at the Florida, and then I'll come back.
Huge, bro.
So wait.
Oh my God.
No, wait. Then it's like going back to Florida, and then you come back.
And then I'll come back, and then we're going. Listen to me. I come home. Tropical Storm Tour, October 15, Ocean View, Griga, and then Bowlaruga, November, and then not Asbo, November 19th and November 18th. We are there. You know where we are there.
Yeah.
It's all about home.
Is Prince coming with you?
Prince always date me. Prince is also not just tell him your title.
Well, I'm the president of the Royal Family Company that my dad has created and he's passed down to me. So a lot more responsibility.
So some of the music videos that you see, Jamani produced. Some of the songs he produced my records, some of them, and the music video he put together.
So Jamani, you guys are actually forming this team that is untouchable.
Well, it was already formed.
Yeah,
it was already formed before I was even in it. It's just that like my dad, he just woke up one day and he's like, okay, you ready? Take responsibility.
So when he asked you if you were ready, what was your response? How do you feel? You've been this is being passed down to you.
Right.
And this done anything.
Right. Well, I don't have all the way creative control because there's still some stuff that he's stubborn about that he won't let me.
You guys are partying on our show.
But but you know,
I wear pink today. He said we look like Starburst.
I did say that.
Now that you mentioned it.
Thank you.
You said we should wear. We always twin. That's our thing. We twin with our clothes.
Exactly.
And he said wear the red. And then when I do the man, when he walks though, I hurry put on the pink, and then man, me don't wait for it. So he never can say nothing. So the man, the huff and puff. You shouldn't wear the pink, Dad.
No, you guys look great, man.
You know what? That's how you know it's a father-son dynamic duo, right? Because you can't have this giant empire without the kings like this.
Indeed. So we know where you're going to be. We know where you guys are going to be. We know where the performance are going to be as well. Some of them I'll be right there as well. Looking forward to you guys.
You are the host.
When you know.
You know what you want.
You take it down, y'all.
You want this performance happening, my boy. I would have tried to ease it, my
Just make it promoter. Just make it your promoter.
But we're so thankful that you guys could have joined us, as a dynamic duo. There are a lot of people who have got the dream to actually be working along with your son and son along with your dads. So this I'm sure is a one of a kind. Your first time on Open Your Eyes. You've been here already.
Yes, this is This is the show it bust me.
This is what I'm saying.
Show it bust Lover Boy. This is the show it bust Lover Boy.
This is So we know what's coming up next for you. So we're so thankful that you guys could have joined us this morning.
Yes. I want to say, honestly, I know we never have that much time to touch it, but please, I want you to know that I am so humbled and grateful for your company alongside my journey, our journey, and I thank you for holding me to high expectation, and I challenge you to continue to hold me to the highest expectation that you can, and I am up for the challenge. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart, for real. I love them like the Johnny Cake and beans I'm going to eat right now. You get the sense? Salute to everybody who has been so selfless towards me. See you guys at the concert on Friday. It is I, look for boy, no dare.
Are you sure you know what? Just salute you.
Prince, so he's got the it is I love a boy and stuff.
What do you have?
I don't have Nathan right now. It's still working. I'm still taking notes.
Guys, thank you, man. Thank you. It was a great time having you both on the show.
Love you,
Looking forward to it.
Love you guys so much.
Loverboy and Prince at the big concert this coming weekend. They're headlining. It's going to be great.
Marion Jones.
Yup.
Sporting Complex.
You don't want to miss out. It's going to be a great time. So go on out there, meet Loverboy, meet the Prince, and enjoy what they've got to offer.
Yeah.
It was a great time.
It was a great time, but we gotta go.
Yeah, we got to go. We're going to take a final break of the morning, and when we come back, we'll be wrapping things up. Stay with us. We'll be back.
I love it. This duo, I turned into a trio.
Yeah. I'll be there to take
you. Might surprise me.
You will. I don't know. So you will.
Start your engines now for the National MSME Roadshow, geared towards building the resilience of MSMEs and developing a Start your engines now for the National MSME Roadshow, geared towards building the resilience of MSMEs and developing a national MSME directory. Sign up for this 3-day event filled with intensive boot camps, presentations, MSME support and formalization clinics, pop-up shops, and more to help you develop and promote your business. The National MSME Roadshow will be in Corozal starting August 24th, Orinduap August 31st, Belize City September 7th, Punta Gorda September 14th, Key Cocker September 22nd, Belmopan September 28th, San Ignacio and San Helena on October 5th, Dangriga October 12th, Placencia October 19th, and closes in San Pedro from October 26th. Learn more and sign up for the National MSME Roadshow by visiting the Beltrade Facebook page or call or WhatsApp us at 613-5139. And let's get your business on the road.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package include 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
I'm always on the go, and the country is my home. So when I want to get away from it all, I immerse myself with my favorite movies, all from the new SmartStream app. It's easy to use this service. Purchase your movies from the app and use your mobile data, SmartStream data packages, or smart broadband to stream and enjoy. Be like me and stream on the go with SmartStream.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Welcome back, and we're completely
out of time. Just wrap it up.
We're so thankful to everybody who had joined us this morning. Without you, this is not possible. We're glad that you actually wake up, you open your eyes, and you started your morning right with us here on Channel 5. If you've got any questions, any concerns, you've got a birthday shout out, you'd like to drop us a line at oye@channel5belize.com.
And of course, you can always catch us on our live stream on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ, and check out our highlights on Instagram at OYE Belize.
Then you could join us again tomorrow, being Thursday, when you open your eyes.
And you start your morning, right?
And as per usual, you keep your eyes, your mind,
and your hearts open.
We're going to see you soon. Make sure that you keep safe today. If it's too hot, hydrate. You want to hydrate.
Plenty water.
And make sure that you keep the love alive. Have the conversation. It is important to do so, and continue to share that love everywhere. Bye-bye. We're going to see you tomorrow.
on and feel the vibe. I feel the music in my spirit. Come on, let's do it. Dance, dance, dance. Hey, first pick up the DJ. Everybody loving every song where you play. Move up the body to the treble and the bass. You love a boy, come mash up the place. Without problem, left that outside. Left out the hate with the love inside. That's where your ego, that's where your pride. Move back, right. Everybody, grab somebody, cause it's a party. Come on and feel the vibe. I feel the music in my spirit. Come on, let's do it. Dance, dance, dance. Ready, go. Okay. No, this not the part. Grab a flag. Yes, I. Party people, are you ready? All right then, get something out here, baby. Get something out here, baby. Get something out, get something out, get something out here, baby. Get something out here, baby. Party people, are you ready now? Dominica, where you there? Grenada, where you there? Trinidad, where you there? Where me believe your people? Everybody, grab somebody, cause it's a party. Come on and feel the vibe. I feel the music in my spirit. Come on, let's do it. Dance, dance, dance.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.